So we begin target C, exponential functions for growth and decay. All right, it's super easy, okay? The first part of the note, well, target C is pretty easy. Target D is learning, putting it all together, learning what we learn in target C, and actually figuring out an answer based on the information that we learned from target C. So what we learned today, it's very important because it's going to help you answer questions for target D, okay? So we're going to learn about growth and decay. I think the meaning of growth is that it's increasing. So when you have something that's growing, okay, it's going up, it's increasing. Something that's decay, that means that it's going down. Okay, the function for this is written as f of x equals a1, okay, inside the parentheses is 1 plus the ratio to the power of x. And we talked about this formula before in target B. Remember what goes in here, okay, is your ratio. Is remember the geometric sequence, the one gn equals g1 times r to the power of n minus 1. Do you guys remember this? Same thing, g1 is the first term, r is the ratio, the change, how much you're multiplying each time, right? Well, same thing for the function for growth and decay. This is your first term, so a1 is your first term, your first number, okay, on the sequence, your first starting point. And we all know that R is a ratio, okay? The difference here is that actually the ratio for this, and let me delete this because we don't need it anymore, is that the ratio in these problems are going to be given to you in percentages, and you need to switch that to decimals. How do you switch it to decimals? You just divide by 100. So let me write that again. Because I don't know if you know, but a percentage is 100%. To get that into a decimal, to do the opposite, well, you just divide by 100. If you have a decimal and you want it as a percentage, you will multiply by 100. So to get a percentage to decimals, just divide by 100. So that's what we are going to also focus on for today. That every time a ratio is given to you in percentage, you need to switch it to a decimal because we should be focusing on decimals. All right, well, that's the one for decay. And again, this is growth because you're adding 1, okay? And the exponential function for decay is the same, okay? Is a1 parentheses, but now it's going to be 1 minus r to the power of x. Again, this is growth because you're adding, this is decay, you're subtracting. Really simple also. If you're adding to 1, that means that growth has to be more than 1. Okay, and if you're subtracting from 1, it has to be less than 1. Okay, this right here, let me change my color. This right here inside the parentheses, so the 1 minus r and the 1 plus r, that is called the multiplier. And let me just tell you that, that is called a multiplier. And again, why is it called a multiplier? Because it has the ratio. Remember, the ratio is the change. What is the change? When you're multiplying. That's why it's called a multiplier. So when questions where they're going to ask you find the multiplier, okay, or the growth and decay factor, okay, it's talking about this right here. Okay, it's talking about what's inside the parentheses, the 1 plus r and the 1 minus r. That's it. Okay, when they're talking about write the whole equation, the whole exponential function, then yes, you're writing the whole f of x equals a1 parentheses 1 plus r or 1 minus r, depending on the problem. Okay, so let me just leave you with that. All right, the first few questions, question 1 from 1a to 1i. All you need to do is tell me that if it's going to be decay, it's going to be growth, or it's going to be neither. Okay, so I'm talking about question number 1. Identify the functions exponential growth or exponential decay or neither. And again, growth or decay factor. All you're going to be paying attention to is the number inside the parentheses. okay? The number inside the parentheses, that's what we're focusing on because that's what's going to tell you if it's going to be growth, decay, or neither. And again, if you look at what I just explained to you, how do I know if it's growth? When it's more than 1, okay? Or less than 1 when it's decay, okay? That's it. So if you have a fraction, like for example, question 1a, you have 3 over 5. You need to get that into a decimal. I don't know how much is 3 over 5. So if you divide 3 divided by 5 and you put this on the calculator, you actually get 0.6. 0.6 is less than 1. That means that this is a decay. So less than 1. Next one, the number inside the parenthesis 0.97 is 0.97. That is less than 1, so it's decay. The next one, I don't have a number inside the parentheses, therefore I don't know if this is going to be a growth or decay. I don't know. I don't have a number, so it's neither. I don't know yet. All right, the next one is 1.001. Because it starts with a 1, remember 1 point, that means that it's more than 1, so this is a growth. The next one, you have negative 1.97. We did not talk about negative numbers inside the parentheses, so this one is neither. You cannot have negative numbers for this. When you are talking about growth and decay, there's no negative numbers. Okay, F, you have 1.6. Again, it starts with a 1 point, so that is more than 1, so it's a growth. All right, G, H, and I, you should try that on your own. Okay, once again, show me your answers once you guys are done to check your answers, obviously. All right, the next part of the notes, it says, write the annual growth decay factor or multiplier for the following situation. So again, they're asking you for the growth decay factor, aka multiplier, and what I just told you in the notes, that is talking about the inside of the parentheses. They just want you to find what number is going to be inside the parentheses. All right, again, that is going to be 1 minus r or 1 plus r, depending on the situation, right? And I also told you that the r is going to be given to you in percentage, and you need to switch it to decimal. And to switch that, you need to divide by 100. In case you don't know how to do that, again, you can use your calculators. All right. So in order for you to identify if it's going to be a growth or decay, you need to read the problem and find the keywords, okay, that tell you it's going to grow or is going to decrease, increase. Those are the words that I'm looking for. So for example, 2a, it says a home is going to increase in value by 16% annually. Okay, increases means that you're adding, so that means I'm actually going to be doing 1 plus r. In this case, r is 6%, and I just told you we need to switch it to a decimal, so I'm going to divide by 100. 6 divided by 100, okay? And again, you can do this on the calculator, there's no biggie. So 6 divided by 100, when you put that, is actually going to be 0.06. That's the number I'm going to plug in for r. So here we go. I'm going to delete my r there, okay, because I was plus r, 0.06. Okay. The last thing you need to do is give me the final answer. Yes, it is in the parentheses. I get it. 1 plus. Well, just add it. How much is 1 plus 0.6? Well, that's just going to be 1.06. That's my final answer. Okay. So whatever you have inside the parentheses, make sure you give me the final answer. The final answer is 1.06 for this problem. Okay. All right, the next one, it says a refrigerator decreases in value by 3.2%. Decreases means you're going down, so it's going to be 1 minus the r. And again, r equals, in this case, 3.2%. I need to get that in decimal without the percentage, because right now it's in decimal, I get it, but it has this percentage. So technically, we don't have a decimal yet. We need to get rid of that percentage. How do you do that? By dividing by 100. Once again, just use your calculators. I really don't care. Obviously, when you do the practice, you can use your phone, but we just remember that you're going to be using the calculators that I have for you for your quiz and test. So maybe get used to that. So when you divide 3.2 by 100, it's going to give me 0.032. That's your R. So go ahead. I'm going to plug in right here for R. Oops, I deleted the minus. So the R was 0.032. And once again, I need you to find my final answer. You need to do 1 minus 0.032, which gives me 0.968. That's my final answer. Okay, and that's it. All I did was find the multiplier, the growth of decay factor, and that's it. That's all I'm doing right now. So what you're gonna do, okay, is go ahead and try to do the the multiplier for the question 3A and 3B, okay? But before I do that, let me explain something else. It says write the exponential function. So now they want you to write the whole thing, the function, okay? So now we're writing either the f of x equals a1, okay? 1 minus r to the power of x, or we are using the other one, f of x equals a1, 1 plus r to the power of x, okay? So again, you're trying question 3A and 3B, okay? You are going to be finding the multiplier, what's inside the parentheses, just like I did for question 2A and B, okay? And then you're just going to write it in the function, okay? Don't forget that, let me help you out. It says a new car you bought for 25,000 decreases in value of 15% each year. Decreases means that it's going down 15%. Remember, it's a percentage. We need to take that percentage off. Let me start this equation. F of x is going to be, again, A1 is the 25,000 because that's how much you start. What I need you to fill out is what's going to happen, what's going to be inside the parentheses here. Okay, and you already know what goes in here because we figured it out in question 2A and 2B. And then after that, try 3B on your own. And again, that's what I'm checking for today's notes. If you have questions, let me know, okay?